let's talk about course creation planning. Now, first, there are two different ways you can use the term course creation planning. The first is the way that I'm going to use it. And this is like how to plan out what goes in your course, how to plan out what your course needs to be about. In the old days, this is called analysis, or I call it discovery. And the other way you can talk about planning is project management planning. And that's a different video. So we're not going to talk about that today. So this is specifically what you're going to do when you first decide, hey, I want to create a course. Now, what goes into this discovery phase, this course creation planning, is several different types of activities. The first activity is this even a course that needs to be created? Now, you might be like thinking this is great because there's no course about this particular topic. Now, there not being a course about that particular topic might be for a reason. It may be that there is no market for that course. Or it could be that it's a great market for the course. Sometimes you might think there's way too many courses on this particular topic. That doesn't mean that you are, not going to be able to create a profitable course from that particular topic. It could be that there's a demand for that particular course. And what makes your course different is always a lot of you in it, your perspective, the way that you do it, the way that you talk about it. You resonate with your audience in a different way than any of the existing courses out there. And that can be a good thing. So the first thing is we talk about this front end needs analysis. Is there even a market for this course? Is this even something that people need a course for? Now, often in the world, when there's somebody who is behaving in a way that we think that they don't need to behave, like somebody drives crazy or doesn't give you customer service, there's a need of saying, there's like a lot of people say, what that person needs is training. Now, I know this because I worked in a training department for 19 years. And so lots of people came to me and said, people need training, sometimes about stuff they already knew everything about. They didn't need training. They didn't need training so often. What they needed is some sort of perspective or emotional attachment to the right thing. There's a lot of things that they might need. Sometimes you say, well, they're not doing this like they ought to, and they don't have the tools to do it. They already know what they're supposed to do, but they've developed workarounds because they don't have the tools they need. You might find that with your own audience. Like they may already know they're supposed to eat right. They may already know they should be walking every day, and they're not doing it. So do they need a course on how to walk right? Well, perhaps. It could be that a lot of what they've already received is a lot of knowledge. And so what they need is a transformational course, or they may need a course that not only tells them what they ought to do and bring clarity in a world that tells them all these different things. You should do it this way. You should do it that way. But they also need tools and engagement and a connection with you, like maybe somebody who can walk them through it. So lots of things that go into that front end analysis, but you should end up with a yes, a going forward, a green light before you move forward. If you're getting this sort of red light thing, you might want to try and reword it, rephrase it, talk about it differently, and see if maybe it triggers. Otherwise, I would abandon it right at that time, because you don't want to put a lot of work into something that doesn't give you the results you're looking for. So the second thing you're looking for is an audience analysis. Now, in the traditional training world, an audience analysis is looking at like a broad group. And a lot of times today, the advice that we get is to speak to one avatar, speak to one ideal avatar. And that is fabulous. It gives you a lot of advantages to have one avatar. And that is that you can write your course for a specific person, and it comes across as more relatable than writing a course for a broad audience, for a group. However, there is one disadvantage to having a single avatar, and that is most course creators see and this is by far what I've seen more than anything else, they see their ideal avatar as a younger version of themselves. And that is really awesome because you get that shortcut of figuring out like how to talk to that person. But it gives you the disadvantage of seeing the world through blinders. You only see the world the way you see the world. It doesn't require a whole lot of empathy to see other people. So I encourage my clients to think about the range of people who are taking your course, the range of education, abilities, experience, age, and then to create an avatar on the margins, the least experienced, the one that has the least education, the one who is the youngest, and then also have somebody who's got the most experience, the most education, and the oldest. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same person, because somebody could, if you're doing a tech one, it could be the youngest one generally has the most experience. So it's just this idea of creating margins around your course. And then through these 3 avatars, spread apart all the things that could encourage some diversity, some inclusion, like make sure that you're thinking about the different ways that people process things. Make sure you're thinking about the different socioeconomic background. So those types of things can really help you see the content from a different point of view. Now, I still encourage people to write for an ideal avatar, but to review it with all the avatars so you can make small tweaks. Like you make a tweak for somebody who's ADHD, you may not be ADHD, but you make a small tweak for somebody who's ADHD, and it benefits everyone. It's really incredible the way that happens. So I do an audience analysis in the discover phase, and that helps me make sure that I'm on target. With that audience analysis, I'm also looking at like, what are the reasons people wouldn't perform this behavior? And that allows me to address those barriers. Now, when it comes to the behaviors, this is a different part of the analysis, but it has to be done too. And this is a gap analysis. This is the analysis of saying, this is the way they're behaving today, and this is the way they want to behave. So this is the existing behavior and the desired behavior. You compare them, and then you can figure out what are the areas where there is a gap. So this is called a gap analysis. Some people call it a before-after bridge. So this is the person before, this is the person after, and I'm going to create content that takes them from one place to the other. I tend to see it as a map with it also before and after, like this is where we are before, this is where we are after, and then this is the path or the journey they go through. I love to think about maps and journeys when it comes to courses, because many of my courses tend to fall in that transformational title. So they're transformational. So you're thinking about what are the aha moments of epiphanies that they need in order to move from where they are today to where they need to be. So that is the entire discover phase. So you've got the gap analysis, you've got the audience analysis, and you have the front end analysis. Now, the other thing that you need to do in the discover phase is do your market research. So you can make all these assumptions about your audience. You can make these assumptions about what that gap is, how they see themselves currently today, how they desire to see themselves in the future. But it's not really all that good to move forward if your assumptions are faulty. So check those assumptions by having conversations with people in your audience, or by reviewing their profiles, or reviewing conversations online so you can see how is it that they describe their situation, what do they describe as being frustrating, and what do they say they want. These are really, really helpful ways to encourage testing of your assumptions so that you move forward with more truth instead of just moving forward with a false assumption. So that is the discovery phase. That is how to do your course creation planning. And at the end, you should have a list of, this is what my course is about, and these are the outcomes that I'm going to prepare for them. You should also have your 3 avatars all detailed out. So hopefully that helps you. Please like and subscribe. There's lots more videos coming.